So the first one is about a next-gen system here. So we can see I have a screenshot with the rules nicely written out here. And we can see on the chart, this is always helpful to have the entire chart. Clipping information, hiding information is never a good thing. So just so people know, when you send in screenshots, please don't clip the screen because everybody always clips important information, and we just have to email you back telling us to send us another screenshot, so it just wastes time. So in the future, don't crop images. So we can see here, this is using the next gen indicators here. So we have the system rules here, which are pretty basic, right? I think these are probably the trigger lines here, but we're going to use the linear regression indicator instead of the trigger lines. But then again, these might be linear regression, I don't know. But they look a little different than my chart. So I'm assuming that these are actually the next gen trigger lines there. But in any case, it doesn't matter. Right, we have two moving averages here, a linear regression 21 period and a 38 period, right? So obviously we need the faster one on top of the slower one. But also, here's something a little unique. We need 5 ticks of separation between them. So in other words, like we can see here, the two moving averages are a little too close to each other, probably. And it's, you gotta say it. Remember, 5 ticks of separation is not measured perpendicularly, right? It's always on charting. It's always measured vertically. So it's kind of hard to see what exactly 5 ticks is, but you can see here that as the two moving averages get closer together, clearly they're getting within 5 ticks. So this would be an invalid, situation here. And then, so the trade trigger occurs once these renko bars cross the red and blue lines here. So this is the next gen Fibonacci trader, T3 Fibonacci trader indicator, whatever it is. So, and of course, I don't have paid indicators on my system. So instead, we're going to use the prior day open, high, low, close indicator. So instead of that, right? So as soon as, getting back to the trade trigger, so when the renko bars cross, right, the support resistance line here, so we'll just call it support resistance line. So whatever indicator you want to use for that, once the renko bars cross it and our two moving averages have 5 ticks of separation, then those are all the conditions met. Well, it's 2 conditions met, really. And a trade trigger is generated there, right? And we do also have an exit signal condition here. Number 5 here. Yeah, so this probably would trigger a go long signal right in here. And then the bars, right, or I should say the market reverses back down. So once the bars, approaches, and of course, approaches is a vague term in trading. It doesn't tell you what that means when you're trading. So to get clarity, approaching means whenever the renko bars get within 5 bars of our support resistance line, then we're going to trigger an exit signal here. Let's see. And I guess, and also, and if, so we actually have 2 conditions here. So if the linear regression indicators, flip, reverse, they're stacking, then, so in other words, if we get a crossover, then that's also an exit condition. So, so we would have gotten an exit condition over here. So we'd have 2 exits here. when the moving averages cross, and then also when the renko bars get within 5 bars of our support resistance line there. All right, so that about sums it up. And also, okay, yeah, just to get some clarity here, we can see here on rule number 3, yeah, so no entry signals, obviously 5 bars before or 5 bars afterwards. Yeah, so we have to wait for the renko bars to surpass the support resistance by 5 bars. So yeah, 5 bars afterwards. So okay, there we go. So last little bit of clarity there. And okay, so with that, let's minimize this. And let's see. So first thing I need to do is I need to find the prior day. There we go. So there's the prior day open high-low indicator that we're using as a substitution for the support resistance indicator. And let's see if we actually, there we go. There, so we do have price coming in contact there. Yeah, that doesn't look like that has any trade setup within it. Neither does that. All right, well hopefully we'll get some signals within this area here. Yeah, we have a bunch of crossing of the close and the high from yesterday, I believe. So, all right. Let's stretch that open a little bit more. There we go. All right. So, so let's get BloodHound open, and we can start building here. All right. So first thing we need to do is give our system a file name here. So let's put in today's workshop, and there we go, the 15th. Let's save that. Let's see. So the first thing, let's make sure, right, that the linear regressions are stacked, in the appropriate direction. Well, or I should say, we'll determine the trend, right, the trade trend based on how the indicators are stacked. So with that, we're going to compare, right, the slower linear regression to the faster, or I should say the faster to the slower, to determine the trend direction. So we're going to use a comparison solver here. All right, so we're comparing, the 21 to the 38 or 36 here. Let's find out here. It is the 38. Okay, is the 38 there. All right, so the input A is going to be the faster moving average, and input B will be the slower moving average. So let's replace that SMA with the linear regression. And there it is. All right, put a 21 period in there, and we're good to go. All right, now input B, same thing. There we go. Linear regression, make it a 38 period. And we're good. And all right, I'm getting all long signals here. All right, so I'm just going to check the comparison rules here, make sure everything looks good. And let's see. Oh, interesting. So it looks like something hasn't updated here. So, all right, let's just do a reload of the chart. There we go. Okay, great. So, right, whenever the faster linear regression, right, is below the slower one, and you know what? Let me change the color of this slower one. That just blends right in to the bar. Let's see, maybe chocolate. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we'll go white and red. There we go. Okay, and so when the faster is above the slower, then we're getting a long output, right? So there is one of those trend filters there. But we also need that 5 tick of separation. So we're not done yet. All right, so we're going to go back into this comparison solver and then go back into the comparison settings here. And so we want the faster to be 5 ticks above. All right, so we're going to say plus. Actually, we want the linear we want the linear regression for input A, right? Remember, input A is the faster, to be greater than the linear regression, the slower one, plus 5 ticks, right? So if you take the slower one and then add 5 ticks, we want the linear regression to be greater than that. So, and probably it's supposed to be greater than or equals to. So let's put the equal symbol in there. And we want it to be 5 ticks, not 5 points. So let's adjust the points down to ticks. There we go. Okay, and so for a short, we want the faster linear regression to be less than or equal to the slower minus. So we're taking the slower one and then we're subtracting 5 ticks. There. Now let's take a look. Right, okay, so now is a big difference, right? So now we have these gaps where the two linear regressions don't have that 5 ticks of separation. So, all right, so there you go. Yeah, so once we do have that 5 ticks of separation, which, let's see, these bars here are, the bar bodies or the bricks are 7 ticks. So, yeah. So you can see that looks about like 5 ticks, right? There. Okay, so that is our trend direction there. All right. So now, let's see. So now we need to make sure that we're not taking trades going into support or resistance. So I'm trying to find an example here. All right, yeah, so I can use this as an example here, right? So we can see that between the two moving averages, we have our trend direction and our separation, and we're heading into the a resistance line here. So let's use that as an example. And so we want to make sure that there's no signals going into a support resistance. And so for that, the best one for that, since we do have multiple support resistance lines here, right? I'm going to use the support resistance solver, right? So we can see down here at the bottom, we actually have a support resistance solver there. So I'm going to connect that in. And let's see here. We're looking for, we're going to use the default mode here, right? So in other words, what we're looking for is price far enough away from support resistance to take a trade, right? So in other words, headwind mode. So it's the older version called headwind mode here. So right, So in other words, we need to make sure that the bars are at least 5 bricks away before taking a trade into support resistance, right? So we're not going to change anything here, right? We're using the default mode here. So now let's replace the indicator. Right, so again, we're using the prior day open, high, low, close as a substitution for the T3 Fibonacci indicator there. And we're going to select all of the plots here, right? So we're using all 4 prices here, right, as our support resistance here. So let's select them all. You can see they're all checked there. And this is something that's unique to the support resistance solver, is that indicators that produce multiple support resistance lines, you can select them all with the support resistance solver. You can select them all, so that way you're monitoring all of these plot lines or all of these support resistance lines. So, all right, now, I don't want to jump ahead yet. So the next thing is, what bar price are we wanting to compare against this support resistance indicator? All right, so we're going to compare the closing price. Yeah, since these are renko bars, that makes it kind of simple here. So let's compare, the close of the bar and make sure it's not within, right, 5 bricks of the support resistance line. Okay, now we can go down to the distance targets here, right? So this is where we set up, how much distance or separation, right, between the bars to the support resistance line do we need in order to be able to take a trade? How much resistance, do we need? So now we are using something here that almost never, like, I think I might have demoed this like 2 or 3 other times in the 10 plus years I've been doing this. So this is kind of cool that I get to demo this again here. So the measured in, right? So in other words, the measurement units is going to be renko bricks. So we're going to put both of these to renko bricks, right? And the minimum number of renko bricks we want is 5. So we're going to put both of these to 5 here. And let's see here. And okay, so this is not exactly correct. Well, actually, I guess it is. So what this is doing is the renko bricks, right? It's taking the brick size and then multiplying it by the value here, right? So the brick size here, these brick sizes are 7 ticks. Yeah. So, right. So these renko bricks are 7 ticks long. So 7 ticks times 5 bricks, right? 35 ticks. So we need 35 ticks of separation there in order to trade into it. So, right. And of course, if let's close this here, right? So if I go in and I adjust, whoops, wrong one. Let's see here. There we go. So if I go in and adjust the brick size, right, then obviously that's going to adjust this distance here, right? So just keep that in mind there, right? Yeah. All right. So let's get rid of that. Let's see. So no trades. Let's see. So we have no trades going into support, and we also need to make sure that there's no signals once we get past the support resistance. So 5 bricks past it. So let's see here. I need to find a spot that I can work with. Here we go. So going, oh, hold on. I need to switch. There we go. I need to look at our trend, basically our trend direction, and I guess, yeah, what trend direction, and it's also kind of a trade permissive as well. So I need to check this guy to see when is it okay to take a trade. So here we go. So we're below this resistance line here, and we can see there is an area that's okay to take a trade. Yeah, so I think, oh, and also right here. Yeah, okay, so we have two spots here that I can check, because clearly this area here is too close to the support resistance, right? It's not 5 bricks away from this support resistance line. So no trades here, even though, right, even though the linear regressions are saying it is okay. So, right, they're stacked correctly and we have that 5 ticks of separation. So I do need to prevent this area here. So let's see here. So we got, yeah, so with the support resistance that we have set up here, right, it is saying that, okay, as soon as these renko bars cross below, right, our support resistance line here, that it is okay to take a short. Right, it's saying it's okay to take a short on these bars here, right, but we want to prevent that, all right? So these are too close here. So we need a way to prevent the ability to take a short trade there. So what I'm going to do, actually, let's see here. Let me name this first here. So I'm going to make, we're going to use 2 support resistance solvers here. Okay, so this first one that we just made, right, it's using headwind mode. So again, if we just click on the price to support resistance line mode, right, we can see it has headwind mode selected there. Right, so what I'm going to do is make a copy of this and paste it. Here we go. Let's see. Actually, yeah, so I was going to use tailwind mode, although, actually, no, tailwind mode is not what I want. All right, so I'm just going to do some experimenting here. Let's see if I just invert that. Okay, yeah, all right. I believe that does it. So, so really I have 2 copies of the same solver. They're both exactly the same, although one is inverted. All right, so I'll just put a INV to note that it's inverted there, right? So remember, the original support resistance solver, right, it's saying that it is okay to go short once the renko bars, right, cross below our support, the white support resistance line there, right? But this other one, the new one that I inverted, right, if you notice down here, there are no short outputs. So so in other words, you can't go short right there. And ultimately, these have to be combined together with an AND node, like so. Right. And let's see. So with that, let's. Uh-oh. Now we're getting nothing. Well. Well, shucks. All right. Yeah, so that, I thought that was going to work here. But yeah, problem is, so we want to be able to keep, well, yeah, so we need to be able to keep all of these short outputs once the Renko bars get far enough away from the support resistance, then it is okay to take a short down there, or even a long. So, all right, so the invert wasn't quite the right answer. Here we go. Okay, so there we go. So I don't think, yeah. So having two solvers here, actually, I don't think is the correct solution. I think the correct solution here, and let me just kind of disconnect that, is whenever we have there we go. So whenever we have a long and a short at the same time, yeah, this looks correct here. Yeah, so whenever we have a long and a short at the same time, that's what we're looking for. Yeah, because that tells us, yeah, that is telling us that we're far enough away from support resistance. So, yeah, we're more than 5 bricks away from below it, or 5 bricks away above it. So what I'm going to grab next is a long short modifier. So I only want to see when we get a long and a short at the same time, right? At the same time. And the long short modifier can isolate those long and shorts at the same time by using the product mode there. Right? So product just means, multiplication. So, yeah. Now we do have one exception here where sometimes the Renko bar closes exactly on the support resistance line. So let's see. So we need to figure out a way how to get rid of this guy here. Let's see. We'll mark that, and we have another one over here. There we go. Have to mark that too. But otherwise, yeah. So we can see once the Renko bars gets far enough away, we're okay to take either a long or a short trade. So, so again, remember the support resistance solver, all it's doing is it's just making sure that we have enough separation from the support resistance to where price currently is at, right? That's all it's doing. It's making sure that we have enough separation here, right? Which is what rule number 3 is saying here. So when price is approaching, right, the support resistance line, no trade executed 5 bars before or 5 bars after, right? So we need this 5 Renko bar clearance from the support resistance line, right? That's really what that's saying. And so that is what the support resistance solver is providing, is saying, okay, once we're clear, then we're okay, right? And so, yeah, these two support resistance lines are too close to each other, so there's not going to be any trading in between. And then let's see here. Yeah, so once the Renko bars gets high enough above, right, the green support resistance line, then we can start trading again. So, yeah. Okay. So let's, before we get going too far, let's work on, right, fixing these signals here where the diamonds are. Let's see. So I do have another support resistance solver here. So I'm going to see if I can tweak this to, let's see, tail width. All right, looks like that worked. So I'm seeing a signal, what appears to be every time, a renko bar is closing on one of the support resistance lines. Yeah, let's just double check here. Yep, that renko closed on the green line. That renko closed on the white line. Yeah. All right, so I've identified when the renko bar closes on one of the support resistance lines. And the way I did that is the mode here is I'm using tailwind mode, right? And tailwind mode identifies when the bars are right next to a support resistance level. All right, so just to go through this again here, right? So headwind mode makes it verifies that price is far enough away to trade. Tailwind mode identifies if it's the opposite. It identifies, is price close enough for a possible bounce, right? So when price gets really close to support resistance, that could be a possible bounce. So that's what tailwind is mainly used for, is to identify, okay, price is close enough, there might be a possible bounce setting up. And headwind mode basically says, okay, we're far enough away that you can take a trade into the support resistance. Right. So I'm using tailwind mode, and so my distance here is I want to know, when the bar's closing price, right? Because remember, the price is here. I'm still using the closing price of the bar. So I want to know when the closing price of the bar is 0 ticks. Basically, right? The close is 0 ticks means the close is equal to the support resistance line. And that's what I've identified. And so now I've identified it, but I want the opposite, right? Because remember, we want to get rid of these signals here. So I just need to invert it, and then I get the opposite, right? When you invert, so now there is no signal whenever the close of the bar actually equals the support resistance line. So that's what we wanted. So now, when I combine these two together with an AND node, there. Right. So let me just connect this. So if you remember, right, these two nodes, right, got us like 98% there, but then, right, we needed to get rid of these signals here when the renko bar actually closes on the support resistance line there. And so this second support resistance did that. It got rid of that. So as soon as I connect it in, there we go. We can see those signals there disappear. And let's give this a name. Let's see here. There we go. All right, that's basically what this is doing, is when the bar closes on the support resistance line, yeah, we're actually getting rid of it. So there. Okay. So there's that part. And all right, I think the last part here is just connect in our trend filter there. And that should be that. Oh, let's see. We probably need a bar direction solver as well. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously I don't think we want to be taking long trades when the bars are going down, right? So let's add a bar direction solver to this. Connect that in there. There we go. All right, let's go back to the screenshot here. Let me just double check, make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, yeah, that looks like that's it. Yeah, so let's just kind of clean this up here, right? So we can see that there are, all right, we're getting multiple continuous signals here. So let's kind of clean that up with a signal blocker here. Let's see here. So now it looks like we need to probably block for at least, yeah, let's just say 15 bars. Yeah, call it good. All right, yeah, I think that about does it. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, the exits. I did forget the exits. Okay, let's get the exits done here. All right, so we're looking for when the linear regressions cross each other. Also, so if the bars get too close to support resistance, or if the linear regression lines cross each other. Okay, yeah. So actually, let's name this logic template before we get going too far. Well, all right. I guess for now, yeah. I don't want to hang up the workshop. So yeah, we'll just call it the T3 Fibs for now. Entry. There you go. All right. So this is the entry, and I'm going to make a new logic template here, and this will be the exit. There we go. All right. So the easy exit there is the crossover, right? The crossover of the linear regression lines there. So let's just connect that in, and let me put those linear regressions in here again. There we go. There's the 21. And input B, that'll be the 38 period. There we go, Lin. There's the linear regression. Okay, 38 period. And there we have it. Pretty simple, straightforward there. Right, there's all those crossovers and everything. So, okay, so next, I think we can borrow the support resistance solver in Headwind. Well, actually, maybe not, but I'm just going to experiment here. So that is the beauty of BloodHound, is you can just play around, and it's real easy and quick to do. So let's grab the support resistance solver in Headwind mode, and there. And if I invert that, let's see, okay. I need to find a spot on the chart to test this. let's see. Okay. All right. So good. Let's say, let's say we get into a long trade. Somewhere down here, we get a long entry. And so as the bars are approaching, right, this white support resistance, if we're in a long trade, we need an exit. So this long output here, so this would exit a short trade. All right, so let's say if we got into a short trade down here, then this long output would exit the short trade, but it would not. So let's say we got into a long trade. So if we're long, this would not exit a long. Yeah, so we just need to, let's see. I think we just need a function node here. So let's grab a long short modifier, kind of like what we did for the entries, right? And for the long short modifier, what we want is the addition. There. So, all right, so now we're getting a long and a short. So it doesn't matter what direction the trade is in, right? So if we were, in a short trade over here, as soon as we get to here, right, this short trade has a long output. So that long output would close out, right? It would flatten the short trade. But if we were in a long trade, then the red or the short output would flatten a long position. Yeah. So in other words, so as long, whenever, I shouldn't say as long, but whenever, right, the close of these renko bars are within that 5 brick distance there, we're getting a long and a short, so that'll close out a trade in any direction. So we can now just combine those together with an OR node, right? Because either the crossover or just proximity to our support resistance lines, either or condition is what we're looking for to exit. So there we go. Right. So when we look at this, yeah, so if we were, let's say we were in a short trade, right, our linear regressions cross each other, and so this long exit signal would flatten a short trade right there. And then if we were long, yeah, well, okay, let's just say if we were long back here, then when the linear regressions cross each other right there, right, that short signal would exit a long trade. Yeah. So, okay. So there is our exits. Yeah. Also, just another mental note, guys, right? You see, right, yeah, so this is a good spot here where, right, we can see that basically the market is right next to these two support resistance lines, right? And so we're getting all of these exit signals because price is just too close to these support resistance lines. So we're getting all of these. So keep in mind that when Raven or Blackbird, when Raven or Blackbird, when it receives an exit signal, it will never, it will ignore entry signals when there is an exit signal on the same bar, right? So all of these exit signals also act as kind of a gatekeeper, you could say, for the entry signals. So if there was ever an entry signal here, let's say somehow a short entry signal somehow managed to slip in here, well, because there's an exit signal on that same bar, the entry signal is ignored by Blackbird and Raven, because of the exit signals being on the same bar as the entry, right? So all these exit signals, just act as a double check for any rogue entry signals. So, but we did make sure that we weren't going to get any entries, if these renko bars are too close to the support resistance. But so this is just a little extra information here, reminder for you guys there. So so if we wanted to, we could be kind of sloppy. We could have been kind of sloppy with these support resistance solvers, in preventing the entries, right, when the bars are too close to support resistance solvers. If we were a little sloppy, in the design of the entries, we would have been kind of saved by the exit signals, right? The exit signals, would act as a secondary check against any kind of sloppy work, with cleaning up the entry signals. All right. So anyway, just a little extra tip there, and reminder on, how the exit signals affect the entry signals within Raven and Blackbird. So, okay, with that, I think that does it.